Hello everyone, welcome guys. I'm so excited to have you here right now. So this is the advanced section of this course. So we dive deeper into selling. I'll talk about more selling techniques and tactics. This part covers like how to get the job done. So prior to now I've been building laying foundation on what selling is about. And I've taught you that selling is about influencing people to take a decision or to take an action, just influencing people, to do what you want them to do. So we'll go further here. I'll just refine the definition and add something extra. Selling is communicating your thoughts. The further we go, the more advanced you become, so that you understand it better and you can get more results. We're about to go into the meat of, every part is important, but we are just going deeper, right? So that we can make it a 7-figure salesperson. So, or maybe you're already doing 7 figures, don't start doing 8 figures or 9 figures, whatever. This course should help you hit your goals or give you a clear picture. It won't do all the work for you, but you give you a clear picture of what to do to get there at the end of the course. So now, selling is communicating your thoughts and influencing somebody to buy your decisions for them. What do I mean by that? So let's say, for example, you're selling a product, you're selling a service, you have your own perception about your product. You believe that your product is the best thing that ever happened to your target audience, that can happen rather to your target audience, because they are yet to buy it in this case, right? And you want them to get it. So you believe that these products, once they just get it, all their problems is over. That's how you think about your product, and that's how you should think about your service. And let me just briefly say this: that's why it's important to be sold on what you are trying to sell. And what does that mean? That means you have to really believe that what you are selling is solving that particular problem that you believe it should solve to really sell it well. So if you are not sold out on what you are selling, you cannot sell it with full confidence, because selling should be about communicating your thoughts, influencing them to see from your perspective. So you believe that once they do this, all their problem is over for that particular, for that particular context, because you could have multiple products, but you believe that your product will solve that particular solution. And sometimes it's a recurring, it's something that could be recurring, a recurring need, a recurring service. But you have to really believe that your product or your service solves the problem that it has been designed to solve. So from your perspective, you just don't see why they are not buying. You just feel like you have to see the need. You have to just feel like these guys need this thing. Are they not seeing that they need this thing? Come on, you want to. So that should be your perception. That should be how you think. That should be how you are thinking as a business owner, a salesperson, a service provider, a product seller. You are seeing the need, you are seeing the importance. So your work is to communicate your ideas, to communicate your thoughts, to help them to open their eyes to see the need as much as you see it. Okay, remember from the introductory part, we talked about the hot audience, the warm audience, and the cold audience. So sometimes, and I mentioned that the cold audience need education. So you have to sometimes, this is what selling is. So you are influencing them. It's like you have to be the mind opener for them. You have to be their eye opener. You have to help them see. This is not the approach you take for an hot audience. An hot audience already know what they want. But generally, as a salesperson, you're thinking, this person has to see what I'm saying. You might be seeing the importance yourself, but they are not seeing it. So you just have to pass your thoughts across to them. Communicate that thoughts. You have to influence them to see from your point of view about your product. You have to help them see what you're seeing about how your product is going to solve their problem, or how your product is that solution for what it is a solution for. And it's so important now, because selling is about communicating thoughts, primarily communicating, influencing somebody to buy your own decision. So selling is communicating your thoughts, communicating your idea. So it's important that we understand that you cannot do that without words. The primary medium for communicating your thoughts is via words. Now the methods can be different, all right? So it could be via spoken words, written words, like design like a flyer, a single flyer. It could be just a plain copy, like messages. It could be video, but the major thing you're trying to sell is the thoughts and the idea that should get them to buy. So now in this advanced selling, we are talking about what kind of thoughts make people buy, and which kind of thoughts should you create to make them buy. Now I've told you that people are emotional, are emotional based buyers. So to sell, right, you have to sell to their emotions. But how do you sell to their emotions? Alright, that's what we're talking about. To sell to their emotions, you have to sell to their emotions from an emotional point of view as well. So people buy, and it's going to sound, it might sound creepy to some of you that are not new into the sales industry, and may just sound like evil or something. But then there are primary emotions that make people buy. Alright, so one of them is fear. The one is pain, another is pain rather, another is insecurity. So we have fear, pain, and insecurity. Now, don't look at, if your job is a salesperson, you don't have to look at yourself as a bad person. You're not bad people, but you just have to understand that to actually make people buy, you have to trigger these emotions. You have to trigger fear inside of them. You have to trigger their pain. You have to trigger their insecurities, and then point your product to be the solution to those fears that you've triggered. Point your product to be the solution to the pain that you've triggered. Point your product as the solution to the insecurity that you've just triggered. And I'll give you a very good example in the next class, so you just see how I do that for the sales course.